What's going on, everybody? I am excited. I am really, really excited for a lot of different reasons here on The Big Thing. Ken Napzok's going to be joining me. That's right. He's going to be joining me. And, of course, we're going to talk about Star Wars. It's not the whole damn thing. That's what Sith Council's for. But I want to talk to him about some Star Wars stuff. We haven't really talked in a bit. And with that, we're also going to talk about some stand-up. We're going to talk about whether or not this grouchy old bastard wanted watching the Spider-Man trailer or not. You guys can take your bets now. There's a lot of different things. I got a new dog. Ken loves dogs. And that's what we're going to talk about. That's the name of the show. The name of the show is actually Ken Loves Dogs. And we're going to get into it in just a minute. It's The Big Thing. Thanks for joining us, you humps. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's The Big Thing. It is Wednesday, and you guys are joining us here on this Wednesday morning. And I'm happy to have you. Super happy to have you. And I'm in a good mood. Why am I in a good mood? Come on, look at this guy. Dance it up, man. Yeah, break it down. Old school. It's like the rock version. Great. It just makes so much more sense to have this song, and even more when the great Ken Napzok is joining me here. It's good to see you, buddy.
Hey, buddy. Do I look at the lens? I feel like I'm a rookie.
I don't give a shit.
Okay.
You can look at me.
I know, yeah.
It's fun for the podcast. You know, this is one of the things we were talking about this off air.
Right.
You and I are in such different places in our lives.
Yeah.
And
way different.
Different.
But same, but way different.
Yeah, I mean, we're still doing our thing and what we like
humps.
to do. We're still humps. But the difference is that we're both in a place where we just want to do what we're enjoying doing and not being forced to do.
Yeah.
That's what I felt like we were doing for a long time. We're kind of forced to do stuff.
Yeah. You want to? Yeah. Let's just dive in.
Go in, man. Go for it.
No. Look, we were all blessed to do what we did, and it all takes you forward. I'm just in a spot too where it's like how I talk about things, how I take things in is so different, and even with comedy, I view it as a communication, and I want to have bigger and better purpose, but also silly shoot the crap stuff comes up too, but like just in a different spot, and how I appreciate things, and breaking mics,
sorry, don't worry about
and all those kind of things. I get you. I answered nothing there.
No, you did. You actually you did answer from that. I feel the same way because here's a perfect example. The Spider-Man trailer comes out.
Yeah.
This channel is not meant for trailer reactions and trying to do reviews, and it was a thing that I used to do in the past, but I really wanted to react to this trailer because I'm excited about the movie.
Right.
So I said to Sadie, I was like, hey, I'm going to go out in the back. I'm going to just turn the camera on and do this. And I did. And it was fun. Yeah. And that's the thing is a lot of times I think that where we are, we don't want to lose track of fun. And I think you can easily lose track of fun.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. There's a couple of things I'm doing right now that, I'll be blunt. I'm not getting, we're having fun at GPA, but I'm not getting, Napzok Files is done. It's still a feed, but I have a show called Saturday Night Napzok, which is a satire radio parody that's me doing all the characters, and not intentionally bad, but it's like all the characters are facets of my personality. Yeah. I'm basically having a conversation with myself. I put hours into it. I record it 6 to 7 hours on Saturday. It's the least
6 to 7 hours
because I write it.
Because you write the whole thing.
How
does it take you to write an episode?
I start about noon and I'm done recording by 6 to 7.
That's what you always did, though. That's the kind of stuff that you should be doing. You love that shit.
Yeah, but I used to do it when I was 14.
Right.
Same exact show I did when I was 14, where I was a host, I had a producer character, and I had fake guests. I was later on very influenced by Phil Hendry. But it's the least listened to thing I've done. But it's also the thing I'm most proud of.
Isn't that a kick in the ball sometimes, though?
Oh, I get grumpy at it.
Yeah.
And I don't feel I'm owed anything, but I also feel like I'm saying something in this stuff. Right. I'm talking, I'm communicating, I'm looking at the world and going, here's my thoughts on it. Comedy is the only way I know how to talk, because I wasn't a class clown. I was the quiet kid in the back of class. That's how I got people to listen to me. Not jokes, but listen to what I had to say about the world. And so I'm putting so much into that, and you don't necessarily get it all back right away, and it's not about that, but also this is our career, got to pay bills. So that I'm back into radio now. I got a rock show called Pop Rock and Radio on Mixcloud. And I'm just starting it, but to what your point is, like I want to go back to not back to the basics, but to what I want to really do. Yeah. And I feel you and I specifically, and Ellis and all those, we got into this. We were comics, we were writers. I did fell into it. I was over at the Groundlings, did sketch comedy, all those kind of things, and stand up. And then it was like, a signal went off in my brain. Hey, this digital media thing pops up, and that just obviously gave us a bigger platform, and I'm so happy about that. But it wasn't.
It's not what we wanted to do in the first place, and it's almost like we got pigeonholed into it at a certain aspect. Because I feel the same way that you do, where this show, people, and and you can't blame the fans that found us that way because I get it all the time. Oh, I wish you and Mark would do the Where's the Schmoes No movie reviews, and it's like, and I'm so appreciative of the people that found us that way. I like doing this. I've always liked doing this. You know that. Like when I've had like the conversations, and it was speaking of what you were speaking of, how like you put out this thing and what you like to do, and then it's like your lowest viewed thing. I was doing the one-on-ones again. I brought it back because they did well in Collider, so I brought it back on my channel, and I had some great conversations with the guys at Cobra Kai and like I brought in my buddy Paul D'Angelo, who was the guy who inspired me as a comedian, and the reason I was able to shift and do everything that I did was because of this guy. 1.8 thousand people watch it.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, the fuck am I doing? It's like, and then, you know, it you just got to keep pushing at it because the people who do like it, you're going to stick around like this show. Like,
That's great. Yeah.
I have been doing that for this show. And making sure that like I put something, I have guests like yourself, I have just pure conversation, and moving it over, I think, to this other channel. You get the ball bags that come in and go, oh, it looks like you know, you got to start from scratch again. But you just got to keep pushing forward. Yeah,
look, I could easily get in a car and get angry and scream and maybe hit the algorithm, and that's just not where I'm at. And if people that are, if that's where they're at, more power to them. It's not a competition, but I get a little frustrated. Even you promoting the show, I almost want to apologize to someone. Someone tweeted me like, "Finally, I've missed Ken talking Star Wars." I'm like, I've never stopped. I've been over here doing 5 to 6 hours a week with Force Center with Joseph. How are you? I actually want to know, how are you not getting that information?
Right.
Because we want that to be, you know, that's what our heart. So it can get frustrating, but you're right. You got to focus on who is there for the content and who is there for you, and appreciate them. And that's an outlook thing, right?
Yeah, it's also a problem with like the band splitting up too, right? Because the fans that go with the band, it's like where do they go? Do they go with the drummer? Do they go with the guitar, the bassist? Do they go with the singer? Where do they go?
I see everything in terms of rock bands. I talk about this all the time.
Charlie Watts,
I know. Yesterday, time this air, one of the greatest of all time. Indeed. Get your yayas out was the best album titles, album covers, and he's on it with that donkey.
Yeah, dude. One of the Stones. It's like that's how you know we're getting old. One of the Stones finally ate it.
Yeah, well, I mean, Bill Wyman.
Well, Bill Wyman, obviously, but I mean, like, I'm talking, you know, like,
but Kurt, like, yes, no, Keith stands alone eventually, I'm sure. Talk about. I don't know why we don't need to dance around things. When the Schmoes thing kind of transitioned and moved. Yeah, it was a band breaking up, and we had a fun time. You and Mark were this twosome playing guitar and tambourine, and let's get a bass player, let's get a drummer, and we had a great run. And then after a while, it's like, I needed to go play my jazz, and Josh needed to go do yacht rock, and we all needed to do our things. And it will never necessarily be that again. There can be different versions, but that can you all can get in the room. It can feel fun for a bit. Beginning of the pandemic, we did do some. We all kind of hopped on, and it's nothing, and it's just it's been your phone call to me to be the producer of Schmoes Knows 9 years ago. Mm-hmm. Think of where you were 9 years ago,
dude. It was we were just trying to. I was working at The Bachelor as a producer, trying to get the hell out of that job so we can just do this. Yeah. It's funny because I was last year, my birthday. I think I called you. It's so funny. Every time I call you, it seems to be like a transition period of things happening in my career. Like when I was walking through the street in New York, and
I remember that phone call.
And I was about to do a set. Yeah. And Ellis had been asking me for years to do a set.
Yeah.
So I was at a baseball game with Dagnino at the Mets game, right?
That's trouble.
It was fun. It was a lot of fun. But anyway, so Ellis is like, all right, buddy, you want to do a set? And for some reason, I said, yeah. And he's like, really? I was like, yeah, I'm going to do a set. So I started writing some stuff, and I was like, well, I got to call Ken because Ken will understand. Because it goes back to the day when. So for people that didn't know, Ken was working at the farmers market.
Yeah, a security director over there at the market in the Grove. Yeah,
and I was not too far away, and I would come see you for lunch like almost every day.
Almost every day.
Yeah, and we would just talk.
Chicken salad sandwich at Phil's Deli.
Fucking delicious.
Yeah,
so good. But we would run bits at each other. And
correction. You would call me and go, I got this idea, and I'd listen. I go, it sounds okay. You'd crush that night, and then the bit I'd be working on for 3 weeks with charts and graphs fail.
Can I say something to you?
What?
Can I tell you something? I just had this conversation. I used to have this conversation with you at Room 5. Yeah. Said if you ever actually start to be Ken Napzok that I know on stage, you're gonna fucking crush. And you've been doing it lately.
It's happening.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah. No, it's really happening. I'm really excited, and the material is only going to get bigger and better, and I'm excited for that.
Because you're not doing comedy voice anymore.
It took me 45 years to figure out who I was on a stand-up stage, and I had this. If you want to talk about it now, like I don't know if you need to, we needed that web slinging guy.
It's the beauty of this show, man. Just go where you go.
The guy from Indiana Jones Raiders Lost Ark shows up. Give me the rope. No, man, I'm good at some things, right? And like if you and I, like I wasn't worried about this show today. I was like, we'll figure out what we're talking about. Mike's, you and I are going to hang. I'm a broadcaster. You're a broadcaster. We know how to do this. Like it's great. If we had 400 people watching, I wouldn't be nervous. In improv, if you were like, hey, guess what? I got 20 people in the garage parking lot. We're going to do an improv show. I'd be like, all right.
Yeah.
If you were like, we're doing a stand-up show, I'd be like, God. And what would happen, and you saw it more than anyone because you were there every week with me, stand-up was the thing that I would either, on the nights it was great, On the nights it was bad, I felt like 12-year-old Ken.
Yeah.
Where everyone in the room is judging me, and I don't belong here, and the girls are judging me, and the guys are judging me, and the comics, I'm so nervous, and that would emerge all the time.
Right.
In La Jolla with Ellis, and Ellis has just been the best, right? And was patient with me from 2014 on. Never was like, you got it. It was like, hey, when you're ready, and eventually got ready. The first night, and we were on the phone with you, Saturday night. I bombed so bad, but it wasn't the bomb. That's going to happen.
What was the bomb? What happened with the bomb? Was it just the jokes weren't hitting?
La Jolla on a Friday night's tough, right?
It's tough.
It's tough. The guy before me, God bless him, was great. He had a great set, but he was literally like, yeah, you all like that woke stuff? No. Yeah, the crowd's cheering. F masks and this and I'm not coming up here. I'm not a super woke comic and everything, but I have a whole bit now about going to the batting cages as a metaphor for men getting mental health.
Right.
Help.
Right.
And processing our rage. And I'm like, well, that's not going to work too well with this crowd because they're all like, blood, murder. Right. And I'm just like, have you ever thought about your feelings?
You should go open with that.
Yeah. But so what happened, Kristian, is I bombed great, whatever. But I was that 7th grader again, and I was in the green room crying.
Yeah.
I was crying. Tears.
You had that feeling that you hadn't felt in a long time.
I had that feeling of because 2018 with Mark and 2019, I was getting my legs and I felt confident.
And you were hosting. You did a lot of stuff with Josh.
But then I started doing sets, and Ellis was bringing me to Houston. And I had some great stuff, and I felt good. I was like, we're growing. Then that happened. I was like, it's the same thing that I dealt with in 2004.
Yeah.
And 3. Oh. How I got to get past that? Long story short, I almost drove home. And after that first set, we had 3 more shows to do.
Yeah.
And that would have been a complete disrespect to Ellis and a failure to Ellis. But I was like, I think I'm done. And Ellis ever was like, Yeah, it happens. Yeah, it happens. Just make sure you're talking with them, not to them. And then the next day, I was like, I've been on the road with Ellis. Mm-hmm. He's like, I need the 2 hours for the nap. And I'm like, that's a great plan. So I was in my room, just like, what do I do? And I had the thought, I just talked to you about like, I'm a podcast. And I said, if the show tonight at La Jolla was a podcast, I wouldn't be nervous. Right. Why am I in my head about it? So I was like, that's what I am. I'm a broadcaster and a communicator. And I saw a picture of Mark Maron, at the Comedy Store. They tweeted out and they go, the dude sits down. He's a podcaster. He sits down on a stool.
Talks.
I've never sat down on the stool. And I sat down on the stool, and every bit of every anxiety, apprehension, and that feeling of 12-year-old Ken trying to make people laugh went away. And I just talked to the audience.
It's awesome.
And it was the best set of my life, and it's not always going to be the case.
Yeah.
Steph Sabra was there the night. She can, it's the first time she thinks I'm hilarious. Don't tell her the truth.
Because she saw that one.
Don't tell her the truth.
Isn't it funny how perception, one little set, people... And who knows what she would have thought if she seen you the night before.
Sabra says this to me. Yeah. She's great. Her and her sister are a great hang. She says, I've always heard all this stuff. I just didn't see it. Now I get why people want to work with you, which I'm paraphrasing. But, and dude, Kristian, I do think a lot about you because you were there when you'd see me, crying on the side of the stairs going, I just don't know what is what's not translating. And it was that. Yeah. And
and to correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like because you and I came from the same type of the reason why we got into whether it's gotten into nerdy shit or whether it's getting into stand up. It's like we watched it as kids. There were certain things from Saturday Night Live or other things that spoke to us. And so in your head and the way that comedy shifts in general and how it's perceived and how audience accept it, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, that you had an idea of what a comedian was supposed to be back in the day when we used to do it. And I remember going, that's Ken's interpretation of the stuff he saw as a kid and he's trying to do that, but that's not Ken.
It's not me.
Yeah.
You're 100% right. There'll be nights where I'm like, am I Dane Cook tonight, or am I Lewis Black? Like, what am I trying to do?
Right.
Am I Norm Macdonald? What am I? And I couldn't figure out myself. Now, one of my last directors at the Groundlings, Karen Mariama, said, "Oh, I hear you're going to try stand-up from Brian Keith Etheridge and Peter Sprite." And I was like, "Yeah, they're going to get me up on stage."
Peter Sprite, I haven't heard
Peter
of that.
Sprite, yeah, great.
Best.
And she goes, "Oh my God, that's great, because I'd love to hear your thoughts on things." And I was like, "Oh, okay, that's what a stand-up does." But you're right, and it was like every night, and I couldn't get in. And then I started hosting, which is a different skill. But long story short, communication. Like I used to be pretty like Schmo's News, which was great. I love doing that. But that was me thinking, and this is the theme of the segment, was me thinking I'm right and the world's wrong, and how can I fit the world into my view?
Right.
Now my comedy and what I'm trying to tell, it's my story of maybe the world has a better idea, and I'm trying to find my place in it.
Yeah.
And that's the tension, and that's the comedy, and that's the story I'm trying to tell now, because that's where I'm at now as I grow and change as a person, and that's proven to be successful so far because I am who I should be on stage.
That's a major part of it, and that part of it for me, I didn't have that particular issue when I was doing stand-up.
Yeah, you were different. Yeah.
I knew, but my thing was I was a little pigeonholed into this is what is working. These are the jokes. Don't elaborate on it too much. And I didn't have that thing that you and I have. You always had broadcasting experience, but we've had in so much more from being in front of YouTube and all this stuff in the podcasting. I find myself even writing jokes now. I'm like, oh, that even on an older joke that I work.
Oh yeah.
There's a joke that I had that worked very well back in the day at the Comedy Store, and I added new things to it recently because I'm like, well, wait a minute.
Yeah.
That's how I should perceive this now as a older. As a dad, like all these things, I'm like, well, that's a different perception now of how I see this. It still works. It's still funny. There's certain things that there was a joke that I did about when I was single and I was dating a particular woman that said something to me. I can still use that, but I can't use it the same way that I did back then.
No more Mr. Nice Guy.
But it's a different circumstance now. And it's like, because now the perception is, the perception is this. The perception of that particular joke for people who want to, who will see it eventually, is that I don't even know. I've been married for like 12 years.
It's crazy.
I wouldn't even know how to talk to women if they said it. And I remember back in the day, someone said this to me. Like, I wouldn't know how to respond to that. Like, I didn't know how to respond to it back then.
Ellis is still hungover for your wedding.
Yeah, he is. But yeah,
that's wonderful, and retelling, because the materials aren't the problem.
No,
never worked with you particularly. I'm not blowing smoke. You were one of the best comics to watch, and the way you put it together and fed off the crowd. No, you were there, but I get what you're saying. You've just grown up, and that's the great thing about stand-up. There's no time limit on it. There really isn't.
Well, I was talking to my father-in-law about this. It is a young man's game in a certain aspect, or a young person's game.
Energy, yeah.
It's the hustle too, right? It's I
agree with that.
The performance side of it, I actually think that if you do it the way that you and I are, you get better. And especially if you've done it enough, it's like you just jump into it when you're our age, then it's a tougher road. But with people with experience, when you've done it back in the day and now you can craft it, I'm having more fun writing today than I did back then.
Same.
But I have no interest in doing the hustle. I have no interest in trying to get the agents, people to see you and try to get on TV. I just want to do it to just do it.
I'm in the same boat you are. I'm blessed to have a friend like Mark Ellis who's like, yeah, I'll take it up to Seattle and let's do it.
Right.
I'm trying to get back up locally. It's hard, by the way. It's hard. You and I if I even wanted to get up on a show, like I don't know anyone in the game out here.
Yeah.
And it's back in the day, we'd be like, oh, just talk to Ron. He's got the room over there. Now I'm like, hey, anyone do comedy? None of you. You're 15 years younger or you're a different generation. That's frustrating. But I'm with you, too. The end game isn't fame and fortune. The end game is continuing to tell my story to audiences around the world. Dangerfield, 51, early 50s, he found his wind and found his next leg. And I'm not comparing myself to Dangerfield.
I know what you mean.
I'm really excited. Yeah. I'm really excited because I feel out 45, 46 in a few months. It's scary. Yeah. Like, I finally have a story to tell.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. You got to... I think that the perception and reason why we were doing it, even back in the day, which is fine when you're younger and you're doing it, just because I remember when we shot Grasping at Straws, it's like, I have a set that I have to do that I have to showcase for the Montreal Comedy Festival, and then so-and-so might be there, and I have to do this, and I'm going up, and I'm gonna do the improv tonight, I'm gonna do Comedy Store tomorrow night, I'm gonna do this because I got to start to. I would love to do all that, but I want to do it because it's like, oh, I thought of this thing that I want to try.
Yes.
And I think that I'd like to work it out because it's hard for me. I've been working on stuff since last October, and I have pages and pages of shit that I've been working on. And the way I used to do it back in the day that I do it now, I fucking smoke a little bowl and I walk around and I just do it and I work on the same thing and I add new things that I had. But the difference between back then and now is back then I go, oh, I'm going to go to the Comedy Store and try that tonight. Tonight it's like I got to try it in front of a dog, or I got to call one of my friends who don't want to hear it and practice something.
Harloff, I'm about to kill some outlaws on Red Dead. Could you hurry up and get to the point?
Tell me the bit, idiot, and move on. But like, you know, but I have to have sounding boards to. That's my crowd right now, because I know that people also. I don't know this. Like Mulligan's been phenomenal, by the way.
I mean, Mulligan's just phenomenal in a lot of ways.
She's a great human being, but she's been like a sounding board for me. We've been working back and forth on certain things. But you're going to go to New York with us.
Yes, let's confirm and announce right now. I didn't check with Uncle Mark, but yes, I will be in New York at the comedy show. It's both Thursday and Friday night. And I'm excited to see you do a set, you know? It's
going to be a real set. Yeah, the one that, because like to jump back where we were, when I called you that day, and it just, because of that conversation, I had a nice set that day. I think I did like 7 or 8 minutes, whatever it was. Yeah. And I said, oh, I'm going to definitely, and then pandemic hit, because I was planning, I am going to go back to the store. I am like, I want to go.
Your name's on the wall. Don't you get a cup and a?
I get a cup and a broken watch. Yeah. But I want to talk to the new. I'm not making any assumptions that I'm just going to go and start getting spots, because I'm like, who the fuck are you? You haven't been on stage here in like 14 years. Yeah. But I want to start doing belly room stuff. I want to start doing, and then be like, okay, look, I've been working on this stuff, and I'd love to go back. So
belly room's a great room.
Yeah, I'd love to do, and then once we're able to traveling around and do, because you and I were supposed to do a tour in like 2005, right? 2006.
I want to say 2006. I mean, I was telling Ellis this. I don't think he even knew much of that story. I put in my resignation at my job
because of that tour.
Yeah, called my vice president and said, hey, I'm going to be out. I said, it's going to be 6 months or so. You, me, some other cats, we're going to get in a tour bus and go around doing colleges, right? Or something.
Yeah, they had it all booked out and ready to, like, so I was working with these two guys, one guy who's no longer with us. He passed away. But there were two guys that were going to do this tour, because they ran all these shows and were making bank in Vegas. They would fly me and Winkleman out to Vegas every month. I was going to Vegas every month. And we were working with these guys, and like, well, let's put together a tour because they came to watch the shows at Room 5 and everything too. Like, well, who do you want? So I grabbed you, Tom Connolly, I think Franco, maybe? I don't remember.
I don't know. Probably Santini.
There's a bunch of us, and then we were going to rent a bus and go all over the country. And I don't know what happened, but it just fell apart.
Just fell through. And luckily, they hadn't found a replacement. And I got my
I don't think I knew that.
Well, because it was that close. It was that close, right? Orlando was going to be our first date, right?
Booking everything. Everything was ready to go, tickets and all. But the craziest part is we didn't even have a fucking audience back then.
No. And God forbid, I would have probably learned to be a better comic sooner. But I as a I don't know, that would have been tough for me. But
you talk about that La Jolla thing, and I've told this story on this show once, but because it's relevant, I don't know how much of this you know, but do you remember when Jamie Kaler took Mark Franco and myself to Fort Lauderdale? Have you ever heard this story?
I do remember that trip. I don't know the details,
So we did this, it was the Improv. Yeah. And it was one of the big shows, massive room.
Yeah.
And this was during the time when I was going up at the store. I was doing well.
Dude. I
was doing well. But Kaler's like, well, do you want to host? And I'm like, never been my strong suit. I did it a couple times at the Comedy Store in the OR, and I did okay, but never really my strong suit. He's like, yeah, but this is where you can get up every night and do a bunch of material. It's like, all right, let's do it. And I fucking ate a big pile of shit.
Right.
I mean, dude, and I hadn't been,
but not in the fun way.
No, not in the fun way. Not doing it next to a shower or something. but it was amazing. You talk about getting knocked off a pedestal, because I'm going at the Comedy Store and I'm doing well. I'm going to Room 5 and Improv, and it was so bad.
Yeah.
I think my dad was there. Was one of the things that was bad. But then the guy who booked Jamie's like, this guy can't go up anymore. He can't go up for the rest of the weekend. Like, no.
Right.
And Jamie's like, no, this guy's a fucking regular at the Comedy Store. He's an improv. He's good. And he's
Had a bad night.
He goes, that was bad, dude. He's like, I think amateur might even been thrown out. It might have been. It was bad. Wow. And so I said, listen, man, I get it. I said, he's like, I'm bringing in my own. I lost my pay. Wow. He's like, I'm bringing in another guy.
Yeah.
And this guy, local guy, and I was so mad at this guy. And this guy was a sweetheart.
Yeah.
Did fucking nothing except come in and because the guy said, "Hey, do you want to work for the weekend?" Turns out he's a really good friend of James Waugh, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Which is really. But this guy was a sweetheart. His name was Forrest. He's a really, and I think he might even be here now. I don't know, but he's a really nice guy. And I went up befriending the guy while he was there.
Yeah.
But when I said to the guy, I said, "Listen, I know that was bad. I'm not gonna." I said, "Give me." He's like, "All right, I'll put you in. I'll give you, instead of having that, I'll give you like 5-6 minutes in between." I said, "Fine." And I fucking annihilated every night on for two shows. And after that first show, what he did, because he was watching. He didn't miss.
Ready to yank you up.
He gave me like a high five, like I just won the World Series, right? and then he's like, "All right, you're good." And then I was doing like 8 to 10 for the rest of the weekend, and he was like, it was fine, but like, that was like,
it's a gut check.
It was a kick in the balls. Like, just like, I don't care how well you think you do it you're not going to do well at every single show that you do.
Yeah, again, because it's not even just that it's a bomb. It's something about the energy, everything. You know when it's not, the joke didn't hit. It's sometimes a little bit more, and it gets comedy. You can get in your head, and I mean, it's one of the you were judged every second you're on stage, and that's the game. Yeah. And people succeed. And people succeed at an early age. I don't think you necessarily need to be old to get it. That's my journey. That's not everyone's journey. I remember Eliza showing up. I hosted
23.
I hosted her third show in L.A. Tim Powers brought her around. Yeah. Eliza was ready to go from the beginning. Like, she just got those skills. Yeah. So it was like, it's all our own journeys. But I feel you on that. Yeah. I thought they were going to fire me at La Jolla. No one would talk to me after the first night.
Because but you got to also remember, I mean, minus the story I just told you, you gotta assume that, all right, I just had a bad set. We'll see what he does on night 2, right? It's just, it's part of it. But it goes back to what you said. It's that, you're right though. It's that 12-year-old kid, because when you're up there, and I don't give a shit about everything we're talking about here, about saying how much we want to do stand up and how much we want to work on. Of course we do, but it's also that thing inside of your head that no matter if you're the most grumpiest fucking comedian in the world, you're doing it out there because you want satisfaction and people are enjoying you.
Connection.
Whether you're likable, because you have to be likable as a comedian, even if you're not likable. You know, like, you got to be likable because people are going to want to watch it. That guy's a scumbag, but man, he's fun to watch. Yeah, like, you got to have that, and if you don't have that, it's that, well, they don't like me. Yeah, that comes in. Some comedians are like, they fucking hated me tonight, but it just depends on how it's run. But it's good that you're going back up.
Yeah, it's been great, man. Yeah. It's been a lot of fun. I can't wait for New York, and hopefully more. I'm at Ellis's mercy. Eventually, I'm gonna have to leave the crib, but we travel. I think Ellis and I travel well together. We're both great in airports and know how to take naps. So that's it. It's a good team.
Nap the other day. This dog's been keeping me up. I bet. I'm gonna try to bring him on. He's sleeping right now.
The dude's in the don't wake him. The dude's in the studio.
I'll leave. He is in the studio. It's the first time he'll be on the show. But before I gotta ask you a very serious question. You gotta be honest with me. Do you shave your balls?
I have for 25, 30 years.
Well, you're not doing it the way you should be doing it. I'll tell you that.
Okay. Tell me more.
Manscaped. It is. The other day they send me this package. Yeah. Pun intended. And it is this new stuff that they got going on. And I'm always worried about getting cuts on my nuts and all that shit. It was so smooth.
You don't want that.
No. And support for our show, The Big Thing. It is brought to you by Manscaped. They absolutely are the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. They are the champion of the world in manscaped and in manscaping, because they offer precision engineering tools for your family jewels. Manscaped, it just launched their 4th-generation trimmer. They sent this thing to me. You see it right now on the screen. It is out of control good. I love this thing, this Manscaped Lawnmower 4.0. You heard it right. It's the 4.0. 2 million men worldwide, they trust Manscaped. Ken, I'm giving you one of these things before you leave today.
I would love that.
With the exclusive offer for you, you're going to get 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code BIGTHING. You got to go to manscaped.com in order to do it. Imagine shaving with a sleek, well-designed, optimized trimmer that makes shaving time your favorite time in the bathroom. They are not lying. I did not want to leave my bathroom. I had so much fun doing it. It wasn't a chore. I felt like I should be putting on music and dancing around as I was shaving my ball bag. It is awesome. It really is. The upgraded trimmer includes a multifunction on-off switch that can engage a travel lock. It also gives you the ability to turn on the 4000K LED spotlight on and off when needed for a more precise shave. When it's like you're in the woods and the fucking light goes on and you see everything that you're getting done, Ken.
Is it like you're a sniper?
You know, I'm telling you, man, it is
a war.
I just watched Field of Dreams
With your ball hand.
Yeah, with your ball. It was like when Kevin Costner's on that fucking thing and he's just taking out the corn. Yeah, that's what this thing was doing. It's amazing because guys, if you're shaving with the same nut trimmer on your face, you're doing it wrong. You don't want to end up with the pubes in your mouth. It's disgusting.
That's great.
Try this thing. 20% off and free shipping. All you got to do is you use the big thing code BIGTHING at manscaped.com. Your balls are going to look up and they're going to say, thanks, Pops. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code BIGTHING at manscaped.com. One more time, 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. Use that code BIGTHING. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped.
It's beautiful.
Thank you so much. It's phenomenal, dude. I'm a big fan of this.
I started doing it with tweezers and a rusty razor in about 1995.
95. Have you not upgraded to any like real?
No,
trim?
I've upgraded. Yeah.
Have you used Manscaped?
No, I haven't.
I'm going to give you that.
Okay. It's not yours, right?
I got 3 of them. I was going to give one to Ellis, but Ellis probably.
I don't know what's going on there.
Who knows what's going on there? But I'm going to give one to you because I missed you.
Okay.
I haven't seen you in a while.
It's been a while.
And I'm happy to see this. Contrary to any other, you and I have been remained friends for a very long time.
Oh yeah. No, look, I won't go to a theme park with you, but I got to tell you, that should be clear. We are in a band. We're in a band, and sometimes the band fights, and sometimes the band doesn't get along, or sometimes the band, like I said, just goes, hey, I'm going to go record a jazz album.
We never fought, though, you and I.
No, but I don't fight. My problem is I just stew, and eventually I just kill you.
And you kill me.
I'm not saying that's right.
No, but that's just how you do. I remember. Trust me, I remember conversations I had with you, not about me, but other people at Room 5. Don't say that to anyone.
Look, I got to tell you, I've grown since then.
Yeah.
And I think I had more reason to, retroactively, I think I've discovered that I had more reason to be upset than I thought I did.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What to talk about? That's off air.
No, it's great. No, I get the desire to see the band back together. We want to see that too sometimes, but I think it's. I'd much rather experience that live.
Yeah, why not
stage.
different ways? Right, exactly. Like I'll be honest with you. would be much more excited to get back to hanging out with you doing stand up than I would be talking Star Wars every week.
Absolutely. That's how I met you. That's how I knew you, and everything else just kind of became. It was just good conversation around the bar.
Yeah.
But we connected over that, and that's always been the case. Yeah.
I think that's what and so to me that is the more exciting thing. But I did tell you beforehand, I do want to talk a little Star Wars with you, not to get any deep dive into talking about like movie news or Star Wars news or any of that, but it's like. What have you been? We haven't talked about Star Wars really at all.
Yeah.
What are you thinking about the stuff that's been coming out? The stuff that's been out. Like, you looking forward to Boba Fett? Did you like Bad Batch?
Yeah, I love Bad Batch.
Did you?
I really loved it because of what it. Again, I'm so into the micro level of the themes in Star Wars, and that's how I really dive in now with all the things that are present that I enjoy. Like I really enjoyed Black Widow for the themes presented in that movie.
Right.
That some of them weren't necessarily my story. It was this wonderful story of women taking back their narrative from the men that are controlling them.
Still haven't seen it yet. I got to see it.
I literally think it's one of the deepest and smartest and emotional movies, and then I get frustrated when people only look at it for plot.
Yeah.
But that's another conversation. As far as Star Wars, I've been loving it. Bad Batch was exactly what I wanted it to be.
Right.
And a lot of reflection on who you are, your identity, growing, changing, which is what Mando season 1 was for me. Was the theme of that one was reprogramming, and can you go against your nature, and can you grow and change, and your worldview changing? That's a lot about too. So I've been enjoying a lot of that. I'm looking forward to Boba Fett. Boba Fett's never been one of my favorite characters, but I love what they did with Boba Fett coming back. The theme of his just really, he has a code, he has a thing, but he's violent, and he knows who he is, good or bad. And I'm interested in that theme. I'm most looking forward to Kenobi and Andor. And Acolyte.
Oh, Andor. Okay.
That's my favorite time period.
Yeah.
And I think there's so much still on the table to explore with not just Andor, but the burgeoning rebellion during that time, which is what I love that Bad Batch is building these things of what it actually means to for the rebellion and to rebel. I just think there's so much potential in that story. And Kenobi, you and I have been excited for what we knew was the movie first, and then became the series. I think there's so much to explore as well. I see it as a potential big turning of the page in Kenobi's life. How does he go from being stuck in guilt and shame and looking at Anakin as the chosen one and that failure? How does he turn the page to believe, in his point of view, that Luke's the chosen one? And how does he go forth? How does he reconcile with that failure? Oh my God, that's big themes. They might not do that specifically, and I think that's my lesson: is you have to be open to that. What is the story telling you, and interact with the story on that level. But yeah, I've been loving all that stuff, man.
Well, there was a rumor on the Kenobi stuff where that he was going to shut the Force off, right? But in a different way than what like Luke did, because Luke did it because he just was done with it. He didn't want to do it anymore.
Yeah, failure.
Yeah. Obi-Wan, from the rumors, whether they're true or not, who knows? But from the rumors, was that he was doing it so he wasn't sought out by the Empire. So he wasn't. So you couldn't find him through the Force, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that if that was indeed something that was in that script, that movie script, the film script, do you think that they will do that again because of the, I don't want to say backlash, that's not fair, because there's because people like yourself like a lot of the stuff that happened in episode 8, but but because there was oh man, he's shutting off too, but because he's doing it,
there's
a
more plot surface level reason for it.
Do you think that'll still happen? You think they're still going to include that if it was ever in there in the first place?
I think it could be. I think you're going to see the Empire involved. I mean, clearly we've seen some of it. By the way, I try to avoid most rumors and spoilers.
Yeah.
I was at a party recently, vaxxed, everything we were safe, vaxxed. It was a film premiere, and someone goes, "Oh, you do a Star Wars podcast?" Yeah. I just did 3 days on Kenobi as an extra. Pulls out his phone and shows me pictures.
Oh shit!
Like, you're gonna get murdered, dude.
Were you at a Disney premiere?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Okay.
And he's just like, and he's showing me that he's that. And I'm like, this is this. I was
Did
like,
you say anything to him?
No,
or
I
you
just was
wanted
like,
to see them.
But I was like that. You're like, I don't want to see because I just love just going in blind.
Right.
But
Was it cool stuff?
It was great stuff. But like, it's also amazing. Like, that's how all that stuff gets out.
Yeah. Well, look at the Spider-Man.
Look at the Spider-Man thing.
Which is who did that? Like, it's got to be like an editor or something, right?
I don't know.
Yeah,
it's like
he's just like, fuck it.
Bad day at work. Who knows? Revenge. I don't know.
But that's silly. But
a lot of them don't realize. Like this guy, I don't necessarily think he realized he's a working actor, but extras can kind of be a little, a little bit out there. But he's a working actor. He just did 3 days, and he was like, yeah, they're shooting up equipment. Go up there. You can get on the set. I was just like, I'm good, man. But he's not plugged into our daily.
So he doesn't understand
podcast conversation.
It's so funny that you say that, because I was just talking. I played I know you guys have one at the office, but I play the VR, the Oculus, right? And I have this mini golf game that I play with my friend in New York, and so we were talking about it, and I was telling him about like the Sopranos movie, because I can't wait for that movie to come out.
The prequel.
The prequel, and he's like, "Oh, there's a movie coming out." And he's a massive Sopranos fan.
Yeah,
he had no fucking clue that it was coming out, because he's not locked into our world. Yeah. He's like, oh, the Suicide Squad, I just watched it the other day. I didn't even know that was a movie. I turned it on, and and it was so different from the first one. I'm like, the guy who directed Guardians did it. He's like, oh, really? No fucking clue, because everyone always assumes, because you're a big fan of this stuff, that everyone else knows. Nobody knows shit.
There's a friend of mine, actually a former Jedi Council guest, Van William, and he had a mutual friend who's, I don't want to say.
Behind you.
Yeah, I don't. Oh, there's Vanny. Yeah. I don't want to say the name, but it's a pretty big band. He's the lead singer of the band. Casual Star Wars fan. He we watched him, like them, but he's like, I remember liking some, not liking some. I don't know. Mando comes out, pandemic, he binges it. He's like, oh my God. So he tells Van, I'm going to watch all the Star Wars films. He watched 1 through 9, Rogue One and Solo. Loved every one of them. Every one of them. He'd get on the phone with Van afterwards. He's like, oh, I love Solo. And Van would say, well, what do you think? Did you know? And he was like, people got a problem with this book?
Right.
People don't like this stuff?
Right.
What are you talking about? Right. Even going episode 1, 2, and 3. And he just had no clue. And I love that.
At all.
I love that.
I think it's when my wife loves the new trilogy.
Yeah.
Loves it. You think my wife gives a shit whether or not you care if she likes those movies or not? She's and even the other day, I'm rewatching all of them for Sith Council.
Oh, okay.
We're doing a whole rewatch. And I told her, I was like, hey, I got to rewatch the new one. She's like, nah, I don't need to see them again. I like them, but that's it. That's it. She's a movie. She watches movies. She's like, I saw it once. I liked it, but whatever.
Yeah, kind of me with MCU a little bit, but I'm also aware of everything. We're just plugged in. It could burn out. But that's great. That's refreshing.
It is. But anyways, because of Obi-Wan, I think Obi-Wan could potentially be the best Star Wars material since since maybe even Empire. I mean,
it potentially could. I'm a little worried about the writer that came on, but I'm really trust Deborah Chow.
That's where because
and Ewan McGregor, by the way.
I think everybody we both Liam Neeson's definitely going to be in this thing.
I would think so.
Come on, I mean, do you think they're going to play into? So what we have learned about Filoni, though, I know that he's not, and he's more of like a consultant at this point with this show, but like. He doesn't give a shit about the novels. He doesn't give a shit about the comic books.
No,
he'll tell you.
He'll tell his version.
He doesn't. Right. He'll take like even certain things that happened in Bad Batch.
Yeah.
There was that kind of negates Lords of the Sith a little bit.
There's definitely some bad. It's all true from a certain point of view.
Right.
Even the Order 66 with the Kanan comic, it's the same. It's just they hit
different
the same
telling.
beats, just different telling.
Did you watch what the hell was that? The Affair. Did you watch that show?
I don't watch TV
ever. See, it's funny. I watch more TV now than I do movies.
Yeah.
But I know Grace used to watch The Affair.
She watches everything
because
I play video games.
Fair. So The Affair was this like basically it was told through two people's eyes.
Yeah.
Ruth Wilson and Dominic West, I believe. I always mess up their names, but
Dominic West.
Dominic West, I believe.
Episode 1, Phantom Menace.
Yes, definitely Dominic West. So Dominic West plays this guy named Noah, and he has this affair. But you see portions of his life, and then you see it from her perspective. But different things happen.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, but different things are happening because it's from two points of view, and that's kind of I think what Filoni does with the
look, I'm a canon junkie too, but I think we over naturally. This is not a complaint or anything, but it's like you can get obsessed with. What and I always say Star Wars wants you to ask why and not what and how, and that's what you ask first, and then you go into what the story and Filoni's deserves all the praise in the world. But like him switching the Ahsoka lightsabers and everything, it sucks for E.K. Johnston, but she had the information at the time. Also, I always say this. When Lucas ends Return of the Jedi in 1983 and the Ewoks are dancing and we're celebrating and we're yub-nubbing, there was no thought that there'd be more 7, 8, 9. You can listen to George, depending on what time. He'll make up his stories as he goes along. I had 9. I didn't have 9.
Right.
He loves to change it. So how do you move the story forward? And I think Filoni did not at any point think he'd get a chance to do Season 7 of Clone Wars.
Right.
At one point, he thought it was
over. He thought
EK's, and I know the animated series take a long time to develop.
Right.
But it's like, all right, so EK's writing this book, and she's taking it from some of the old scripts and everything, and like that's great. And then now he's like, holy crap! Like we get to do this. Let's find the right way to do it, and it's more meaningful. The lightsaber color coming from Anakin, the control Anakin, the attachment Anakin has to trying to control situations. It's more of an impactful moment. Taking nothing away from the great novel.
No. It's because there's less of a consequence from changing things in books and comics. There just is. There's less of a consequence because there will be people like me, you, Alex, Damon that will notice it and will say, hey, wait a minute, that's different.
Yeah.
But
where I push back is I think the term retcon is thrown around incorrectly many times.
Agreed.
One of the examples, whether you like the movie or not, doesn't matter. Rise of Skywalker, that's like going to church for me. I love that film. But the addition of Poe's a little bit to his backstory wasn't retcon. It was just something.
Which part?
He was a spice runner. And everyone got up in arms about this and that, and maybe there's some social issues behind it, and I understand that conversation, but just in terms of canon conversation, it was like, that wasn't a retcon. That was additional information you did not know yet in the story. So then Alex Segura writes a wonderful book about that time in Poe's life. I really think people should check that book out, and it's just now you have a more complete picture that you didn't have before, and sometimes that might directly counteract the color of his eyes or his jacket or the two steps left he took.
They're telling an over story, and I think they're telling, and they when they're sitting in that room as storytellers, they're sitting there and okay, look, there's some cool stuff that they wrote in the book, and we can stay in the general area, but we got to get to this in the television show. You're not going to see him change stuff that happened in Clone Wars and Rebels. That ain't going to happen because he's too attached to those things, right? Yeah. That's why people keep saying, oh, Darth Maul's going to show up in Obi-Wan. Don't count on it. Don't count on it. I mean, because that's not what is set up at all in Clone Wars and Rebels, because that's the whole beauty of the Rebels. The ending there is that Obi-Wan Kenobi is a different dude. I just watched Phantom Menace the other day, and I found it's funny how much you told me this too. I find myself enjoying that movie more and more every time I watch it.
The prequel series, it's as George was warning us about 2016 on.
Yeah, I'm telling you though, but. Anyway, so where the hell was I going with that?
Obi-Wan changes.
Obi-Wan is so different from when he's leading with rage when he goes to fight, and it's why he has this battle, and he can't really. He gets lucky at the end, and he's able to slice him down.
Well, you say, look, but it's rage. It puts him in a position he has to calm and center himself and reconnect to the Force.
100%. He got. I should say.
I know what you mean, but I'm just.
He gets lucky in the fact that he was able to make the right choice, and that he was able. He sat and he's okay. You're right. Peace, calm, serenity.
Lightsaber.
Go.
Feels the lightsaber. Yeah.
When he battles people, I remember you and I talking about this on the air. I never had an issue with how fast that fight was in Rebels. Because that makes sense. It's like you were going up against a fighter that was barely pro. Now you're going after a seasoned fighter who's been through it.
Yes, I don't want to stamp on that. I love that. I don't love ranking things, but that Maul Kenobi final match is like my second favorite lightsaber, right behind Luke, Vader, and Jedi. Because what's the theme? The theme is stasis versus growth. Maul's been fueled by vengeance, and he comes at Obi-Wan. Everything. Look what you've become. Kenobi says, "Look what I've risen above." And when they go to fight, it's not just a homage to Qui-Gon. What Kenobi is saying is, I'm going to go back and attack you or defend, because Jedi don't attack. I'm going to defend the same way because I know you're going to come at me the same way you went at Qui-Gon Jinn 20 years ago.
Right.
And when you do, I'm going to kill you. And that's what happens. It's about growth. The theme there is not growing and holding on to vengeance. And even in death, Maul only wants to see his vengeance. It's such a sweet moment that the Jedi that reject him, because now this additional wrinkle that Maul carried some rage that I was force sensitive. How come the Jedi never found me? Fuels his rage going forward. And here he's dying in the arms of a Jedi who's showing compassion and empathy. That battle is everything.
It is, and it also showed you the evolution of Obi-Wan, because an angry Jedi or someone who didn't get it, what being a Jedi would have been standing over Maul and like, "That's what you get, bitch," right? But he doesn't. He holds him in his arms and he goes, "This is you got to peace out, and your light's going out," and that's about it.
Yeah, no, and I love, and that's where I'm at with Star Wars, and I've always been, but like it's easy to, we get caught up, all of us, in predictions and what's coming next. I just love, what is the story telling you, and how do you connect with that story? And maybe you don't connect with every beat, and maybe that story's not yours or something else, but allow for other people's experiences with it. But everyone flipped for that Filoni speech in the Mando behind the scenes, which, as they should have, it was amazing, talking about the Duel of the Fates. But that's every fight, that's every scene in Star Wars, and that's where I love engaging on it, man. It excites me.
Agreed, and that's also why I think that he's the right guy for doing what he's doing, because there aren't. Well, I shouldn't say there aren't, but he seems to be the person who is carrying on the legacy of what George knew about Star Wars. He was the one who was given that chest of knowledge from George himself. To then say and passing it on, because he's passing it on, because Dave Filoni is passing it on to other creatives like Deborah Chow. Because Deborah Chow, when you're watching her in the gallery series, she's like a sponge, dude. She's just sitting there she has her eyes are just open up, listening, and she's so excited, and you're like, oh, that's who and the fact that she's doing how many episodes? 5, 6?
She's doing all of them.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Six episodes.
Is it 6? Because there's been rumors of whether it was 5 or 6. So her coming back to do that, I'm excited about it. But
she's got a great resume, and she brings all that in and all that stuff. Yeah, I connect. Emotional canon is what's there. I will argue to the end of my days, Rise of Skywalker connects to every bit of emotional canon in the previous 8 films. It's there if you want to see it. If you don't want to engage it, God bless you. It's there, and that's when Star Wars works, is going back to what George said.
Yeah, I think
a lot of people don't go back to what George said.
I think people don't like that movie because of the politics that went into everything that happened after Episode 8. Right?
Well,
there was a big clash in the culture in general, and then most people who loved that movie, and you're not included in this, but most people who loved that movie, that once a lot of changes were made to negate a lot of that movie, those people said, well, that movie sucks because of what he's doing.
I get visually.
I don't know which one.
I don't know what I'm trying to say. I get viscerally upset when people are like Luke grabbing the lightsaber is a continuation of the third act of Last Jedi, and people always seem to want to go back to the beginning of the island. And if you're not connecting to the theme presented in that scene, you're not connecting to it, not paying attention.
Right.
And then you go and you tweet and tweet and tweet. When I came out of that screening, man, I got so angry. I came out of that screening, tears going down my face. That's my experience. It doesn't need to be your experience. It doesn't even need to be your experience. I know where your journey is on this stuff too. But all people just wanted to be like, tweet, 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 snark, 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 snark. You didn't engage with that movie. You did not take in any of that movie. You just were, and that Star Wars wants you to ask why. Why? Why did that character come back? Why is that scene? Why did they do that? And everyone focuses on how or what or the canon or the plot. And that's where I decided, Kristian, I need to go to Force Center.
Yeah.
And I need to be in a corner.
And just chill.
And just chill.
Yeah.
Because look at me.
I stopped. I didn't even. I reviewed that movie, like briefly, and then people wanted me. I didn't even do a spoiler review of it. I'm not doing it. And I was done talking about Star Wars. I wasn't going to do it anymore. But man,
it's exhausting.
Exhausting. It's exhausting. But Mandalorian has kind of, to me, it's as you say, your favorite lightsaber fight is every second or third.
Yeah, it's Kenobi Maul. Yeah.
Mandalorian to me is my after Jedi, right around the. I could even fit it in there. I might even say season 2 of Mandalorian might be my third favorite piece of Star Wars content.
Which I love. I love that. I mean, it's great. I love it. I don't want anyone. It's so funny because I get called. I'm too positive. Like I could. Mando ran at a B+ A- for me.
Yeah.
But it's A-. Like I'm like right. I just sometimes some of the acting choices I didn't love and this and that. But I love.
You were a little skeptical though on the go with that.
Because also. I think we can say this stuff now.
Yeah.
We knew a lot, and we knew Pedro Pascal was not in that outfit 2 years before anyone did.
Yeah, that bothered you so much
and
more.
And it bothered me because Brendan Wayne wasn't a great actor. Yeah. Lateef Crowder is a great, but it all's come together.
So funny.
But you can tell, and I'm watching it also. Grace is a working actor going. That guy's not delivering the character beats as Pedro would have.
So
and I got in my head over it. But that's those moments, Kristian, where I have to eat my own mush and look at myself and look in the mirror, calm yourself down, release yourself of rage and anger, and engage with what's presented. And what was presented in season 1 of Mando was this beautiful tone poem. The IG-11 reprogramming scene is the heart of that series, the heart of that season, where Quill's given this slow, methodical speech about he was born. We imprinted on this droid our desires, and he was a violent killer, and now we are trying to slowly reprogram it, and what can you become as you try to move forward and become something else, and IG-11 ends up saving Grogu at the end, sacrificing. That's the heart of the series and why I love it. And for you to love Mando 2, I want you, because I know you struggled with some stuff. I get it. Yeah. I get it. We don't have to be on the same page. No. So I love hearing that you're like, Mando 2, oh, that got me.
Both of those... Because it's television to me. I remember on Jedi Council with you and I.
Never heard of it.
Never heard of it. But when you and I were on it, remember how you do this, but the audience certainly did. When that episode 9 was coming out, and I said, sure, I want to see it, but I'm more excited to see Mando.
Yeah.
I said I'm way more excited to see. I think television is the future of Star Wars.
And I'll be always probably more movies first. But you know what? I'll be honest. I can't even say that now. I'm so glad Kenobi's a series.
Yeah.
We knew it was. When I say we knew. We had a friend whose screenwriter buddy was the one writing.
Yes,
we knew this stuff, and I was like so excited, and I love Solo, but I wish Solo was a series, and I wish I'm so glad Kenobi's a series.
Yeah, I would rather Crimson Dawn be a series. I'd love to see Crimson Dawn.
I wanted Emilia Clarke to come back, and she's returning to the comics and all that stuff, and it's a great character. Infus Nest is one of my favorite characters.
Yeah,
I'd love her to show up in Endor.
And she was great in Winter Soldier. She's Falcon.
She's plugged into the Disney casting machine right now.
They've asked her about it. They've asked her about it and talked about it. She said she'd love to come back. But
it's such an amazing the start of the rebellion, and that hyperfuel represents change, and it represents so much, and I'm excited about that kind of stuff.
Well, I don't want you to leave yet, so hold on.
I got I got time, buddy.
All right, good. So listen, for everybody else out there too, another thing, as I mentioned to you guys before, I mentioned to you when Coy was on the show, and we're also very excited to be working with QUIP. I don't know.
I use QUIP.
Do you?
I brush my teeth with it.
You got it. That's good. I'm glad that's what you're doing with it, because that's what you're supposed to be doing with it. It's fantastic. I mean, Ken uses it. Everybody should be using QUIP, and if you don't know, here's something very special for you. When was the last time any of you got rewarded for brushing your teeth? And I don't just mean having a nice night with your significant other. I'm talking about with QUIP's smart electric toothbrush. Good habits can earn you great perks. You can get free products, you can get gift cards, you can get a lot more. You probably heard us talk about QUIP a million times over, whether it was back in the day with Schmoes or recently here on Big Thing. But this is something brand new that's going to reward you and your mouth. The QUIP Smart Brush, it's for adults and kids. It connects to the QUIP app with Bluetooth. Do you know this, Ken? You do this? The Bluetooth?
No.
You listen. This is what you can do with it. You can
Tell me more.
You can track when and how well that you brush. You get tips and coaching to improve your habits. So you get better trips to the dentist when you go.
Oh, yeah.
Earn points for daily brushing and bonus points for completing challenges like streaks. You can redeem for rewards like free products, gift cards, and discounts from QUIP and partners. So if you already have a QUIP, you can upgrade it. So Ken's got one? Upgrade it, Ken, with a smart motor and keep the features that you know and love, whether it's sensitive sonic vibrations, 2-minute timer with 30-second pulses for a guided clean. It's slim, it's lightweight, it's sleek with no wires or bulky charges to weigh you down. Here is something that you get to do. You can beyond the brush. QUIP has everything that you need to complete your routine. You can pick mint or watermelon toothpaste with anti-cavity ingredients for strong, healthy teeth. And it's a refillable mouthwash that's good for you and the planet. And in addition to brush heads, QUIP also delivers fresh floss, toothpaste, mouthwash, gum refills every 3 months. For how much? $200? No, $5. Shipping is free, so you can save money and skip the hustle and bustle and store shopping. Join over 5 million mouths who use QUIP and save hundreds compared to other Bluetooth brushes when you get a QUIP Smart Brush for just $45. That's nothing. Start getting rewards for brushing your teeth today. Go to quip.com/bigthing. Right now, do it. You get $10 off on a QUIP Smart Electric Toothbrush. That's $10 off a Smart Electric Toothbrush at getquip.com/bigthing. GETQUIP.com/bigthing. That's QUIP, the Good Habits Company.
I'm a customer, and I think I'm going to upgrade.
You should.
Yeah.
Use that code, dude.
Yeah, I'll use that code.
Use the code. What else been going on with you, brother? How's I know that you, like you said, you can get grouchy. I'm Larry David.
Yes. I'm actually more positive than anyone wants to give you credit for. I don't like false dudes.
False dudes?
No, falsitudes.
Oh, falsitudes.
Scrimshaw's great at just analyzing stuff through your actions. So one time we were talking about a Clone Wars episode, and there's a ship that's completely cloaked in it, and we were talking about it, and I go, it's not my favorite thing. As Star Trek does a lot, I don't really love ships that are cloaking, and I don't understand why. And Joseph goes, I think because knowing you don't like when people get away hiding who they really are. And I was like,
Dude can analyze.
I sat for weeks drinking whiskey going, that's both good and bad.
Yeah.
How do I get past that, and how do I grow from that?
So everybody use a cloaking ship.
Yeah, and we're in an industry that's cloaked.
100%.
So yeah, I don't know. That's going on. What was your question?
I just what's going on, but I want to jump back to that because, like you said, like we're in an industry. It's so funny because when we were at Collider and we were doing everything, like even Schmoes, I felt like I was part of the industry. I don't now. I feel like I'm on my own island, and I love it.
I love it. It can feel, it's weird. I feel pre-2012 a little bit.
Yeah.
It just now with more technology and we can get your stuff out there. It's weird. I feel like I had a run. 2017 was kind of this peak. 2019 was kind of the end of it.
Yeah.
I'm not in the market anymore. Like, I'm not in demand as a host or a pundit and everything, and I do my own thing. And I'm not saying that grumpy. That's why we're talking about me being grumpy. I just think I have changed, and I never was fueled by ego, but it was great. 2017 Star Wars Celebration Orlando.
Yeah.
People love watching us. People love coming out and cheering us on, and 2019 was a great experience for me in Chicago too. A lot of fun. I can't wait for Anaheim 2022. Hopefully we're there. But I know what you mean. I can't put my finger, but I feel out of it. I muted every word on Twitter and Star Wars. I don't go on Twitter too much anymore. I don't go on Instagram. I don't engage.
Yeah.
I don't even do silly little jokes. I go, I have this equipment that we have here. 20 years ago, I would have died for this. In my radio career in the 90s, I would have died for this equipment.
Right, yeah.
So I have it. Let me try to use it. And I'll just go here and do it.
Well, that was the whole thing. Is that because you got to make choices in how you're going to maneuver out. So when I left Collider, it was just going to do SEN Live, and I was talking to Skybound. There was nothing I was talking to them. So when I started, it was like, because the only way to be able to really make it on YouTube at that point was you got to try to find a way to get the audience involved and do super chats and Streamlabs and all that. And I did. And I basically, because when I left Collider Live, SEN Live got a massive push. Yeah. It got a big push and we were doing real well. But I had to put that fucking robot in there.
Yeah.
Right? And the robot, it is fun for the audience when they're interacting. It works great for Twitch. Because Twitch is an interactive show that you're supposed to have.
Twitch, but it's different.
It's different. It's like it's an interactive show that you're throwing stuff in, and you want the audience to throw in those schmobots and do that. But when you're trying to do like a podcast, a whole crew like we used to on, if we would have done schmoes with a robot, you would have quit the show after like week 1. Yeah.
I did a parody sketch on my show called Great Speeches in History, Great Super Chat Speeches in History, and it's Abe Lincoln trying to do the Gettysburg Address, and then a robot keeps interrupting. It was a necessary evil, you know, and it's like, and it kept. I don't think people I know you took a lot of heat for it. I don't think people realized, not that it was from above, but it was like, you had to do it.
We had to do it. And it's like, and it was no way for me to have everybody here and to be able to employ people and to be able to keep food on my family's table, to keep food on other people's table. It was the way to do it. Plus you run Patreons and everything too. But as time went on, you have to evolve, because the other thing is that people always, I remember when the pandemic hit and everyone's like, oh man, this is going to be great for YouTube. It was the worst thing for YouTube because it changed habits, but it's like, well, there's so much to watch. There's so much to watch. That's the thing, is you have instead of saying, you know, oh, I'm going to watch this, and this, you start, like you said, finding new habits, and people, YouTube changed dramatically. Yeah. So that's when I was like, I'm not, and for SEN Live, when I was doing the shows and having like fun with Brett, and we were doing these things, and we started to do, because that's when the Twitch idea came about, but I was like, I like to do this. Yeah. And so when the idea of this show came about, I was like, this is exactly what you're talking about. You have the equipment, you can do it, and it's like, and it's been working. You know, it's been working. People seem to. I'm getting a lot of comments from the audience about the having stuff. Like I've had Riley on. I've had you on. I had Josh on. I had like the old crew on. And it doesn't mean that you get the band back together. It just means that you can have good conversations. And we got
history. We got experiences, and those stories are fun to tell. Yeah. I'll go on a rabbit hole. And I've met Bobby Lee many times. You know Bobby Lee, but like I don't know him from anybody. But his podcast clips will come on, and I'll love hearing Comedy Store stories from 2005. Yeah. You know, and I wasn't even there. You know, I was hanging around. But so I think that can be part of the fun for folks. But and looking back, but always moving forward is kind of what we've been doing here. But it's no, and I think you made the right decision here. I mean, could you imagine? By the way, you always won. I'm looking around the studio. You were always like, if I could just get the schmoes in my garage. That would be my dream.
That's all I'd want to do. Here.
But also, I have a radio station in my house. I'm on air at Hall of Fame Music Radio in Pennsylvania. I record from my studio every Saturday. I'm starting this thing on Mixcloud, which is just me doing a radio show, pop rock and radio, and it's just been so fun and taking those chances and just going, and we'll see where it goes. Right. And so look, it's okay. It's okay, even with SEN Live. It's okay to go down a path and go, this didn't work. We got to go this way, go that way, or go back. It didn't work. It's okay to do that.
I've had people say to me, like even powers that be, that was like when it's like, hey, I want to move it to Twitch. I want to cut things down. Like, well, but the donations will go down. It's like, yeah, but it's not. But the views are going down on that show because it's not a YouTube show anymore. Right. It's just not. And like, it's not for the quality of the show. Everybody on the show is crushing it. It's very. They're killing it on Twitch right now. Right. Like we were going to apply for partnership now because they've been doing so much stuff and they're getting new subscribers and people are interacting over there. But it's like, and then getting back to the basics of what I like to do. Yeah. And like if you and I wanted to, if we had the time, we could fucking sit here for 3 hours.
I'm not even done yet, man. I know. It's fun. It's fascinating. It's a great time to get content out, and I just like having my own little corner and doing it and figuring out what's next. And we're having a lot of fun at Good People Association. We're launching a Kickstarter soon. I got to remember that. We're getting in the board game business because again, it was Josh's heart was would love to create a board game, so we created a board game called Futility, the actual game of living. On around September 1st, we're launching our Kickstarter because that's how that industry works. Right. We didn't know, so we're like, can we sell a game to Hasbro? Right. And I went to my friend Brittany Wallach, who works at Critical Role, and she was like, no, kind of all the industry, even like Hasbro and stuff, they go to Kickstarter. Okay. It's kind of like Hasbro Pulse.
Yes. I actually could have told you that because from working with Skybound. Yeah. How you do it. All the time.
All the time. So we are launching the Kickstarter really soon. Fertility, fun little kind of satire kind of game, and doing that sort of fun, taking chances, and again, you're always going to reevaluate, head on a swivel, and see what's next.
Well, I mean, so you mentioned stand-up stories when you're talking about like Bobby Lee and everything too. You and I have a ton of them.
Yeah.
Everything that we did. You used to ignore me when I used to go to the Improv.
You did okay. This is
such a bullshit. This is such a bullshit story.
You're so stupid.
This is so not true though, but I'll let you tell it.
But this is also I get it.
This is the way you see it.
I'm the quiet kid in the back of the class that thinks everyone's cooler than me. And in your case, in 2004 or 5, I started doing shows with the horribly named White Boy Comedy Productions, but it was at the time it was a very diverse group of comics that did these shows every week. And you were number one. Here's where it starts. You were really good on stage. So it's like, all right, already it's not your fault. That's me going, oh, this guy's really good. Does he even want to talk to me?
Right.
And two, because you had a thing. You had the beanie, which by the way, I wear beanies now. I apologize.
Do you really? You used to make.
I used to make so much fun of you.
Yeah.
I still will. Yeah. But Grace's mom, we were in Prescott 2 years ago, snow and everything. Yeah. She got me a beanie, and I was like, oh, this is comfortable. This is great. I wore it for an entire year. Grace was like, can you at least get a new one?
Did you wear it on stage?
I haven't done it yet because I sweat. I sweat so much. I wear
really,
my glasses.
Winter was the best.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I remember ex-girlfriend who you know. When she came to see me one time at Room 5, and I was like, I wear this thing, and she's like, it's kind of hot tonight. I was like, it's becoming a thing. She's like, hey, if it's your thing,
it's your thing.
It's your thing. But yeah, so the beanie.
So and now you would sit upstairs to the Improv. We'd all the comics meet there, and you had a process. So I can respect that. You have a process. And I'm not gonna bother you before you set.
But you didn't know it was a process.
But I didn't get. It's easy to put your agenda, your narrative in front of another person. I see this last year with vaccines and everything. Yeah. And so but you had our friend Martini Paratori would there hang out. You guys would talk and this and that. And I just was like, what a talented asshole. Just doesn't even want to talk to me. I made no effort too.
That was the main. That's where it really came down to. It has nothing to do with that. I didn't want to talk to you.
Yeah.
So I was about as awkward as anybody else.
Yeah.
Because a lot of that times, even to this day, I'll walk around and sometimes I'm like, you'll see me in a room. I'm in a conversation for a little bit and then I walk away from it. Like when we went to the conference store recently, I'm there and it has nothing to do with me not wanting to be there. I'm like, I think that everyone's done talking to me at this point. So I walk away and I do my thing and I can't stand still. But when I was doing stand-up and at moments of the Improv, I felt like I was going into a fight. And I felt like I was, so I needed to sit back, headphones, and I'd sit back and I'd watch. And it had nothing to do with, because I would talk to everybody after the sets and everything. Was that the night when because I know you got in trouble for it at the Improv, but when you gave the girl the birthday shots?
No, it might have been. Oh my God, that's actually, if you go on my YouTube channel way, way back, I have a collection of things I did, sketches with Kristen Wiig and all that kind of stuff. And there's this shot. Yeah, I was hosting the Improv. I was
in the crowd. I remember watching it.
But it was hilarious, right? I killed that night. I killed.
It was great.
And this woman, she was like celebrating her 50th birthday. She looks like she was 70, and she's with her friends, and she's already drunk. And I didn't know. I totally get the rules. I totally get the liability of it now, especially in my industry I used to be in. I'm doing the comment, I'm doing crowd work. Oh, you're celebrating your birthday? Name was Cheryl. Oh, yeah, great. So I bring up the first comic and I go back out and I go to Eddie at the bar. I go, Eddie, 2 shots of tequila. And he doesn't know, but he's like, Eddie's the best. He's still there.
Is he still there?
He's still there.
I love Eddie.
So yeah, every time he hasn't seen me in years, he'll be like, Ken, rum and Coke and cheesecake, right? Yeah, you pansy. And so I go back and I do the shot. I do a big cheer. The crowd's cheering. And she's like dancing and we do a shot. And she says the line. She goes, I don't even drink this much. And I do this bit where I'm like, I'm sweating in the grocery store. Crowd's, oh man.
Yeah, I remember.
And I get off the stage. I'm like, man, I arrived. I'm going to have an NBC deal by tomorrow. And the manager like grabs me, pulls me over, goes, you ever do that in my club again, I'll ban you forever. And I'm like, oh, get it now.
See, I don't think you told me that though until after we became
the house manager.
We became friends. Because I remember. I don't even remember the first time when we really started hanging out. I mean, I do remember I know exactly what you're talking about because Mark Franco, who used to run those rooms, he used to do, which I thought was a very good idea. What he used to do, he would run these rooms and he would have all the comics up. There, and he'd say, okay, look, it was like a baseball lineup. He was a baseball guy, so he would do it that way. He'd be like, so-and-so, you're going first, you're going second. Kenny, you're going to be hosting. You're going to bring up so-and-so. If we get a pop in, we'll do that. And that's when it wasn't meant to be douchey, but I clearly can see why people thought it might be douchey because we didn't work for the guy. We were doing sets.
Yeah, yeah.
So everybody was at the table, and there was a booth in the back.
Yeah.
And I sat in the booth.
You sat in the booth.
And I sat in the booth, and I listened to everything, but I just didn't want to sit around the table and do anything. I didn't, it was like, I just wanted to listen. And
Larry David has you've got asshole shy confusion going on.
Yes.
Because people ask anyone who comes on the schmoes, like the Wangers and all those kind of wonderful cats, and they're like, who was the most intimidating? They'll all say me, right? They'll all say, oh, Ken, I was most intimidated to meet Ken. Why is that? Because at the time I was wearing ill-fitted suits and coming straight from work and probably just fought a gang member and arrested him.
And you had a nickname, the Pit Boss.
Yeah. There was one night I almost got stabbed and hit with a chain, and I had to show up to schmoes, and I'm just like, white skin, everything. So I was... And I don't talk. Because I assume no one wants to hear me.
Right.
And so
most comics feel that way. That's why they went on stage.
I got anything to say of value. Right. I'm just this schlump. I'll just sit here, do my thing, and go home. And everyone naturally just goes, "What's going on with that a-hole?" So I get
that's
it.
what you feel. Right.
I get. So retroactively, I get where you were going.
That's all it was, and it was just like I was like, okay, I'm going to do my thing, but I don't. And it's you always hear things about comedians like they don't want to whether they want to they don't want to hear your stuff, they don't want to hear you, they don't want to talk to you, they want to just do their bits. And I felt that everybody was like me, to where they want to just concentrate on their set and do their thing, and conversing and all that stuff would come afterwards. So
afterwards,
and that's ultimately what I felt.
No, I don't think you're wrong. And then those are a group of comics we did 2-3 shows every week, and so it was kind of a team.
Yeah.
And you go hang out at the bar after. This is some of our greatest memories. But I think the process is totally fine and the correct. And I think you had the right idea.
Yeah, so for those people who don't know, Ken and I, Ken hosted that show, and it was originally called the Rebels of Comedy.
And they split off.
They split off. And
Rebels is still existent. TK's still going. Yeah.
So Mark Franco was a guy who was the guy who kind of ran all this stuff, and I was very. And I've mentioned Mark a couple times on the show. I was very thankful to Mark because he called me up. I I'd broken up with my ex, and we were broken up for a while. And he called me. He's like, "When are you getting back on stage? You got time anytime you want." I was like, "I've just kind of been out of it." He's like, "What are you doing?" I go, "I'm just working as." It wasn't a PA, but it was like I was working at Alcon. I was not doing. He's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" He's like, "I got spots for you 3 nights a week if you want. You haven't done comedy in a year. You're a Comedy Store regular. What the fuck are you doing?" And I'm like, all right. So he started giving me spots, and that gave me the confidence to go back up and do more shows at the Improv and the Comedy Store and get on the road and do all that. But it was what he did that was very smart that not a lot of people did, was that for people who didn't know the comedy scene, that you would do bringer shows. Everybody did this. Bringer shows are for those people who are coming in that, all right, hey, so-and-so, you got to bring 5 people, and then I'll let you do a spot. And if you brought 5 to 6 people, you probably got a better spot. If you told him you're going to do 5 people and you bring 2 people, it doesn't matter how fucking funny are you going to go first or last, right? Yeah. But what he started to do, because I was way past the bringer stage at that point, and so what he would do is he'd bring people in like myself and Lou and Tom Connell, these other people, and he would give them spots and make them his regulars because it was smart for him, because he knew if he had some newbie in there that brought 20 people, even if they're it wasn't funny, if they were going to eat shit, he's got a heavy hitter in front, he's got a heavy hitter right behind him. So his show is, people are going to leave that show saying, that was a funny show. Yeah. Even though the guy we came to see fucking ate shit.
Oh, yeah. You and I have seen some of the worst comedy in the world.
Ever, but they brought 35 people. And I remember the room 5 was one of my favorite rooms to go up on, because it was home base. It was home base, and it was a Comedy Store to me. OR is my favorite room of all time.
OR, okay,
The OR is my favorite room, because to me that's like the real gym. That's where you, if you really are a comedian, you know how to work that room. Main room's a fun room. I love that's big room. You do your thing. You have your tight set. You'll do well. OR, you got to work. Right. But the room 5 was a smaller room, and it was packed. I remember that I felt like when I would go and I'd watch Caparulo or Sebastian at the Comedy Store when I would go, that's how I felt walking into room 5. Yeah. Because I knew that I was going to get a good spot, and I knew I was going to do well in the room, because I knew how to maneuver the room, and I knew how to look at the room. And I remember just going there and and I could improv on that thing. I mean,
you would do your thing.
Yeah. My wife told my daughter, she's like, you know how the first time I met Daddy, he was slamming on a piano, and she didn't say this part, but I was shit-faced for that. Do you remember Tom Connolly's roast?
Yes, I do remember.
So,
and your roast too, but
that was when
later.
I wasn't even doing stand-up anymore.
That was later.
Mike Beatrice is a mutual friend of ours.
Yeah.
And I told this story. Mike Beatrice is another guy who is maybe always going to be the funniest guy in the room, but never the funniest guy on stage.
Yeah.
And Mike was up there one night, and Mike no longer drinks anymore, and Mike was drinking at the time, and he was up on stage, and you're supposed to do like 6 minutes. Mike was up there for 17 minutes.
Yeah, that's right.
So, and I was already hammered. Do you remember what I did to him?
No.
I sprayed air freshener on him. And he's in the middle of his set, and I'm going, and he goes, in the middle of it, and people are losing their minds.
Yeah.
A girl's hair caught on fire in the crowd.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? It was Cricket. It was Cricket. Her hair caught on fire.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
I said Connolly's idea of foreplay is punching a wall.
Exactly. I wish he's somebody I wish that we would have brought along into the Schmoes journey. Him and Brett. I wish I would have brought earlier.
Yeah, you should have brought earlier. Yeah, Tom's still out there.
He would have gotten us in trouble.
He would have gotten us in trouble.
Yeah.
He'd still get us in trouble.
Yeah.
He's Dagnino with no shame. Dagnino's got 2% of shame. But he's one of those guys I love. Tommy, I hope you're watching. But like, I always was begging him to adjust to the new world of digital media.
Yeah, he just
sometimes it's harder for people to do that. Yeah,
it's true. I mean, that's why I'm looking. What my goal for people who are wondering at all, maybe you're not wondering. I don't know. My goal is that we start doing stand up together again, right? And whether it's New York is the catalyst of it, and then we start. I think probably 2022. We start putting on shows, right? And we start doing shows, whether it's at the Belly Room in the Comedy Store, whether we start to, because like, as you were mentioning, I don't know where to go up, right? I at least have that in where if I work, I could. Is it a guarantee I'm going to get back into the store? It's not a guarantee at all. But I have the in because I'm a regular at the store. But I can at least try, right? But there's also, because we are going to the store often, the conversations. We both know that we can find places to go. Yeah. And we also know, because of the audience, whether it was a GPA, big thing, whatever it might be, there are people like we're doing these cantina shits for Schmodown, right?
Right.
We're getting between 30 to 50 people in there every time. Right. We've done 2 of them, and those are higher priced CSPs. You're doing 4 matches a day.
Yeah.
Comedy shows once a month or every week. You know, it's like. I believe that we could start to do some stuff.
It'd be full circle to what we, like I said, we didn't have the chops in terms of, the broadcasting every week and finding our personalities and not having the audience yet, but we had the desire and the great nights. Yeah.
It's just doing it, dude. It's always been that. It's always a matter of, how many times have you and I had this conversation?
Too many. But it's all about moving forward. But it's all about finding yourself in the right place, right time.
I'm not talking about stand-up conversation. I'm talking about conversation as far as just got to do it. And
I've gotten better at that. But even that's a trip up for me a lot. Like, just got to do it. Talking about it. I can get in that circle of and you know what's funny? I know that's what my dad did. I mean, he's still alive. I said that like it was past tense, but he did that. He was a great artist, 2D and everything. And I heard a lot of I should have done it, and I caught myself doing it about 10 years ago.
Yeah,
and had a break down and break through in Las Vegas in 2012, and was like, I'm ready for the next thing. And you called 2 months later. Now that wasn't a full-time gig. Yeah, we were getting paid, but it was like that started the next journey.
Yeah,
and I think I'm ready for that now too.
Well, I mean, I think that's what it's going to come down to, because it's like, I think that I don't want to say worn out our welcome, but I think that in our heads, like, it's just like what we just talked about on this show is that what we used to do was great. Yeah. It was a lot of fun. I just don't want to be doing that the way that we used to do it, nor do you. Yeah. And I think that, and that's why even Ellis and I, when we're doing, people are like, oh, you and Mark don't do stuff. When Mark's coming on, Mark will be on the show on Friday. And we even said to the two of us, we have so much more fun doing this.
Yeah.
Like, it's just because Mark would edit all the fucking reviews, and we'd have to go, and Mark would be like, oh, I'm supposed to play basketball tonight. I got to go see this fucking Smurfs movie, and like that's gone now. It's gone now, and there are younger kids are out there doing that shit now, and they're doing it great.
I'm all about the next generation taking up the mantle, doing their thing. After a while, you become, think of wrestling. It's at one point you're an alumni.
That's right.
And you come by and you wave. And, you know, everyone goes, I remember. And then you go home.
And you get the dickheads, and you get the dickheads who are, you know, like, oh, remember, long gone are the days. And it's like, well, look, there are other people who come in and understand, oh, that's what you guys are doing.
Yeah.
That's what you want to do. And that, to me,
Yeah.
is why I'm very excited to get, like, I know that I'd get on stage earlier if I was able to, sans the pandemic.
Yeah, I got tripped up a little bit too. I was going to get back out, and 2020 was going to be But hey, we're still here.
But we're still here.
Yeah.
This dog's still sleeping. I'm going to bring the dog over.
Okay, bring the dog over. This is going to be exciting. I don't know if you're going to edit this out, but I'm going to do the play-by-play. Harloff's grabbing the dude. The dude is coming to the microphone. Look at the dude. Oh, hi, dude. He's so cute. Look at those paws. I'm sleepy. He looks like he's hanging out in Maz's castle.
He's pretty great. What's up, dude? How you doing?
Yeah,
so this is the dude. He's a brand new
dude.
He's a brand new member of the crew. He's been just chilling, sleeping the whole time.
Got that pug snoot, a pug sniff. Look at that.
Yeah,
I can't.
He's like, put me back to sleep.
I can't. I was sleeping. I was dreaming about dog treats. Oh, it's the best.
He's right back to sleep. He's like, leave me alone. He's phenomenal. You guys, how many dogs you got at the moment?
We just have Baxter. We said goodbye to Ratsy in December.
Yeah.
And we're not ready yet. Not yet. And Baxter, we had the poor guy. He just turned 14, and he had a lot of issues. And we had focused on Ratsy towards the end, and now it's the year of the Baxter reboot, and he's got a great blood report. The vet's like, this dog, he's 14, he's got 5-6 more years as a Chihuahua.
Wow.
If you take care of him. So we just, save up some allowance money, and we got some teeth work done. He's got some cataracts, and we're going to fix those eyes because they're like, he'll see again perfectly. He's just, so he's doing so good.
Good. Well, if you guys decide you want one of those, let me know.
I'll take the dude.
I got not that you can't have him, but I know people.
You know people.
I know some people.
Yeah,
I know some people.
Yeah.
The other problem is that you live too far away.
No, you live too far away. Have you ever considered Burbank, where adults live?
So, no. That was the first time. I don't know. I can't remember. I've told so many people this. I don't remember if I've said it on the air, but I'll say it again. When Fernandez and I had the conversation about not returning to Collider anymore, the first thing I thought was, oh, good, I don't have to drive to Burbank anymore. It was literally the first thing I thought.
Yeah, and then remember when they were like, not Defy, what was our parent company? Complex?
Yes.
Complex is going to move Collider to the Beverly Hills office, and I said, well, I quit. And Fernandez says, you quit over that? I said, absolutely.
So funny. I was the opposite because I was
well, it was going to be
7 minutes away. I was so bummed when we didn't move. Everybody else. But
I get what you're saying. Like, of
course. And I understand where everyone else was coming from. Everyone else is losing their mind.
The GPA offices, Kristian, are a 2-minute walk from my house.
Okay. Yes. But so we are going to be potentially moving and doing some stuff. In the area, and where we're going to be is 10 minutes from you.
Yeah.
And the good news.
Yeah.
For me, 25 minutes for me.
Well, yeah. Look, here's the thing.
Deep Burbank sucks to get to.
I'm not deep Burbank.
Your place wasn't hard to get to.
No. But here's the thing too. Like, and the difference of change. I used to back in the day I'd yell at you like, "What are you doing on the west side?" But it's like that's your
family.
You're comfortable. You're here.
Right.
You and Sadie like this. Like, why am I trying to take that from you? You know, I've always lived in the valley. My dream was to get to Burbank, then maybe Pasadena, then San Marino, then F you all, I'm out. Yeah. So that's part of your journey and my journey, and that's what I love. And it wasn't too bad. I got to pee, and I hear you don't have a bathroom here, so I'm going to have
There's a bathroom
pee in my car.
No, it's a bathroom.
I have a 2002 Mustang now. I'll pee in it.
You can go. It's because the air conditioner is so nice and cold in here. Is what it is. It's no. You just got. You need to piss behind the bushes, or you can go in the house.
I'll do that.
There's no outhouse here. Anyway, look, it's this shouldn't be the last time. But the good news is that I will when we are moving. I'd like to have you on a lot more.
Yeah, if you're close by.
Yeah,
and you're paying.
Maybe for stand-up. You can fucking guest on this shit. You can promote your shit. Why don't you go do that now? What do you got?
Yeah, well, please. Good People Association launching their Kickstarter. Look for that soon. Follow us, Good People GPA. Force-Setter B, Joseph Crimshaw, Jennifer Landa, when she can. Diving deep. We did 2.5 hours on one of our favorite scenes in Star Wars. Do you know what that scene is, Kristian? 2.5 hours.
On what? Can you tell me what episode?
From episode 2. We called it one of the most important scenes in Star Wars. It is George's thesis statement on the Jedi.
Is it in the council? Is it a council scene?
No, Dexter's Diner.
The fuck out of here.
We did 2.5 hours on that episode.
You did one episode, 2.5 hours on that scene?
Dexter's Diner. We think George's thesis statement on the Jedi is in that scene.
Okay, this show's never gonna end. When you do that, is half of it shtick?
No,
it's all fact.
It's
you
all
all think that it's legit.
It's interpreting what's in the seed line by line and how it relates to all other episodes of Star Wars.
I mean, look,
Give it a listen.
I would love to.
When you're driving to Burbank.
I will listen to it, and I'll tell you why. Because I listened to a lot of the stuff that you and both Jennifer and Joseph did. I think Joseph's one of the most brilliant Star Wars analysts out there.
Just life. He's just brilliant.
I love
so
Joseph.
many levels.
Joseph's a great guy.
And Jen too. Jen brings joy,
Yeah.
infectious joy, and Joseph brings just insightful stuff.
100%. So like that's why when I say that, I don't know because and the reason I also asked that. Not because of it's just absurd. It's because you guys are comedians, and Joseph is a comedian.
Oh yeah, no, I totally get it. But yeah, no. We approach it pretty seriously, and we have fun, obviously. But it's that. But anyways, Force Center, check us out there. And then I still have my own podcast feed, Napzok Files. But my show, Saturday Night Napzok, currently a bi-weekly satire of radio and life and everything like that, where I play a whole version of myself fighting with the different parts of his personality. And then I just started a great thing I'm so happy I'm doing. It's called Pop Rockin' Radio. It's on Mixcloud, which is its own format. And I get to play music. I don't have to worry about the FCC. I get to play music, and I have a weekly playlist I do. And I get to be DJ Cat, Rock DJ Cat.
Where do we find that?
Something on Mixcloud. Just look for Ken Napzok's Pop Rockin' Radio.
And what about the one with you and the characters? Is that on GPA?
That's on Saturday Night Napzok. That's my own.
That's your own channel.
Yeah, I have too many things, but and Casterly talks back on my Game of Thrones show via GPA as well. I'm a workaholic. I'm the laziest workaholic in the world, Kristian. If I'm not working, I don't know who I am.
I'm with you. Yeah. I'm with you. All right, listen, it was awesome to see you.
Great stuff.
And I'm excited to have Ken on, and we'll be doing it again for sure. And please, if you are going to be in the New York area or can be in that area, you should be. I mean, look, if you weren't going to get tickets for me and Ellis, well, now you got no excuse. Napzok's going to be on the bill. Yeah. Let's do it. So me and Ken and Ellis, we're all going to be doing stand-up on October 7th and 8th in New York. I might pop in for the 7th. I'm not sure yet. But the 8th, I'll definitely be there. I'm going to be doing anywhere between a 15 to 20-minute set, which I haven't done in years. So
I'm going to run the light and you'll do 9.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Maybe you'd be doing me a favor. But anyway, thank you guys so very much. If you didn't subscribe to this podcast already, please do it. It's so helpful to the show. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever podcasts are found. That's what helps us. That's what gets us these wonderful sponsors like MANSCAPED and QUIP. That's what helps us throughout this journey in general, and it's because of you guys and everything that you have been able to do and the support that you've given us. Thank you. Please comment. I've been commenting a lot. Every single person that's doing these episodes, I've been trying to respond to at least 90% of them. I'll continue to do it. It's kind of the old days for me. So thank you guys very much. Thank you to Ken Napzok. Thank you to all of you. We'll see you on the flip sides. Homie.
Are you going to use that walking desk?
No.